Thank you for listening to WYTV7. Can you make us your #1 listen to network? Visit us on the web at WYTV7.org. Contact us. We are currently accepting guests to share their story of hope with our audience around the world.
For joining us today, where our guiding principle for the show is Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Yes, guys, you continue to work, have faith, family, and finances in that order, guys. And we also want you to pray over your finances so that you can do the things that you are called to do. That's to build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. So if you'll commit this simple prayer to memory and pray over your finances on a regular basis, guys, we're ensuring you that you'll be able to do what you are called to do. If you will, just take a moment and bow with me. Lord, help us to value the things in this world that are really valuable. That's our relationship with you, our lives, and our families. Help make us responsible steward of your financial resources, and let us trust your holy word. In the eternal glory of thy son, Jesus, in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We have a special guest today. I am super excited to have him to come on and talk about ways we can make our money, keep our money, and grow our money, guys. Yes, we have Mr. Julius Anderson in the podcasting studio today. So, Julius, how are you?
I'm great, Lynn. How are you today?
Oh, it is such a pleasure to finally have you on. We've had opportunities. Gosh, Julius and I, we've connected via social media, and we've been going back and forth like we've known each other for a little while here. So I'm super excited that you're able to join us here today. I'm really looking forward to the conversation today. But before we get started, guys, Julius Anderson, he is passionate about providing financial literacy to middle-class America, empowering you so that you can make those right financial decisions. So, Julius, how did you get started in this line of work?
So interesting enough, Lynn, and thank you for having me on the show and for, how that got started. I actually, at the time, I was actually a police officer for 10 years, and I was frustrated. And I was in what I didn't know at the time was going to be my last year in law enforcement. I was that last year, I was literally on midnights, and I was on the street when you would see those cars parked in the dark somewhere where I was studying for my insurance license, and I was getting all my financial services credentials. And so I got in the industry. I initially started out in property and casualty. That's like your auto and health. Auto and auto and homeowners insurance, and I eventually became passionate about the life and health industry, and more so retirement, as I saw this was the greater need, and it was also a stronger segment of financial services, is being able to service those individuals. You know, people are always buying car insurance, and if you find a better deal, you'll switch tomorrow. There's no loyalty in that. So, but I became very passionate about the life and health side of things, and more so helping people prepare for retirement and put money away. And I really became intrigued by how wealthy people think. And so interesting enough, I have some great concepts to share with you that comes from, where I've been.
We won't belabor the point because we know you have some exciting things that you want to share with us today. You told me there were 3 key areas that you want to address today. And if I'm recalling those correctly, they were the rule of 72, growth strategies, and taxes. Okay, guys, what a combination. You're in for a treat today because I can't wait to have this conversation. But before we get started, what are some of those common myths out there as you're dealing in this, newly acquired line of work? That's a huge transition from being a police officer to a financial literacy advocate. But what are some of the common myths out there, misconceptions that people typically have that you found in this journey of working to to help people to become financially literate in this?
Okay, so some of the misconceptions, which will kind of segue right into our conversation, is that there's this belief that that you could save money in the bank, the local bank, and see it grow. And that is first of all, the biggest misconception. It's just that it's not designed that way.
Right.
And people will, if you're going to put money in the bank, you might as well put it where grandma used to put it. She just used to tuck it right there in the bra strap, or maybe put it underneath the mattress, because there's no growth at your local bank. And unfortunately, there's so many people that I talk to, even when I do my large presentations. Sometimes I speak to ministries, and I always make it a habit to ask the front row, where do you keep your money? And too many people will just, they're admitting the truth, which is in the bank. And that's the biggest thing that's hurting us. The second thing, we bought into the notion when it comes to our taxes, or when it comes to, how we're putting the money away. Most people on their regular jobs, they have access to 401k, and under the belief that one day you're going to be, we'll give you a break on your taxes today, and in the future you'll be in a lower tax bracket.
Right.
So let's just think about that for a second. First of all, what if the entire bracket goes up? Right now, taxes are the lowest they've been historically. And so the question is, in the future, do we expect taxes are going to decrease, stay the same, or eventually go up? So you may be in a lower tax bracket, but what if the entire bracket moves up? Okay. And the other thing is that by the time you retire, Lynn, and now your house is maybe paid off, you can't write that off anymore.
Right.
Your kids are grown and gone, so you're not getting those deductions anymore. So I get to bust a myth today about taxes, and I get to share what are the wealthy, what do they think about taxes, and when would they rather pay taxes, now or later? So I won't give it away now, because that'll be that's the I don't want to give that away. But those are 2 things I'll share with you, which are common myths that we need to know about. And this is, I could share this because this is we're believers here.
Absolutely.
Our people, we don't perish because we lack enthusiasm. All right.
Okay.
We perish because we lack knowledge and things we don't know. And so, the other thing that I didn't share in there, in between law enforcement and getting all my credentials, I also worked as an educator, as a school teacher. And so now as I educate people in the finances, it's a continuation of something I've really enjoyed as a school teacher. I continue now, and now I'm teaching concepts that, we weren't taught in grade school.
Right.
I went all the way through college and never was taught anything reference to how to make my money grow, what growth strategies, what are my thoughts about taxes. They never covered any of this while I was in grade school,
right,
while I was in college. And so I enjoy helping people bring the light bulb on. So
we're kindred spirits in that arena, because I'm also an educator at heart. But I taught high school biology, chemistry, and anatomy, physiology. And like you said, none of my training introduced me with a little tiny intro in my economics classes. There was a little tiny glimpse, right, into this world of growing your money, but I wasn't able to connect the dots, right, in the way that I am now. So yeah, we're kindred spirits in that arena. So that's awesome to hear. So I'm super excited about this information that you have for us. So let's see. I want to share some information. If you will, go ahead while I get this slide up. We're ready. We're ready for this information. You have intrigued us today. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's get into this rule of 72. What is it, and what does it mean for us and our money?
Awesome. Well, Lynn, this rule of 72, this is the calculation that is used by all of the financial institutions to determine how long it's going to take your money to double, okay? How long is it going to take your money to grow? And so, Albert Einstein, who actually made this rule, I'd say he made it famous. He said these words. He says, compound interest, which is in essence what we're talking about. He says, those who understand it, earn it.
Right.
Those who don't understand it,
they pay it.
Okay? So either you're earning it or you're paying it. So let's talk about, now let me talk about what it means when it means you're paying it. So paying it, if you have a credit card or even a mortgage or whatever it may be, whatever your interest rate is, determines how long it takes your debt to double. Okay? But this calculation or this compound interest or this rule of 72, it can work for your favor to determine how long it takes your money to double. So let's talk about that, okay? So the rule of 72, it works like this. You can take the number 72 and you can divide it by the interest rate, whatever interest rate you're receiving, okay? And so if your money is earning 1%, well, you can take 72 divided by 1, and the answer tells you how long it takes for that money to double. So 72 divided by 1 is 72, okay? So that means that it would take 72 years for this money to double. Now, like I said earlier, I asked people, where do you save your money? And the answer most common is at the bank. Your Bank of America, your Chase, or your credit union. And then my next question is, hey, what is the interest rate they're paying you? And unfortunately, most people don't know the answer to that. A lot of people can't tell you. And I'll even get people to say, I don't know, what, 3%, 4%? And I have to break the ice to them or break the news to them. No, it's more like less than 1%, maybe 0.5%.
Right.
And so let's just pretend that the bank was giving you an entire 1%. Okay. So in this scenario, and in the rest of this scenario, we're on the top bar there. We're using a scenario that if everyone started with $10,000, that's the premises, is that everyone started with $10,000 and you were 29 years old. All right, Lynn, you and I are now 29 years old again, okay?
Awesome. Perfect.
Now, in this scenario, at 29 years old, having $10,000 to start with, at 1% interest rate, it would be, by the time we turn 101, Lynn, that our $10,000 has doubled to $20,000. Lynn, do you have that much time to wait?
No, I do not have that much time.
Okay. Now, so let's just, now here's the other thing. I hadn't planned on talking about it, but inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is your money, the power of your money, the losing money. So gas has increased, milk costs more, eggs cost more, Pampers are ridiculous. So money cost, even if you leave money dormant and you leave money underneath the mattress, it may be $10,000 underneath that mattress, but next year you don't have $10,000 underneath the mattress because that $10,000 won't buy what it bought last year.
Right.
Now, so let's get a little more aggressive. Let's say we get our money in a 4%. Ooh. Now, at 4%, if you divide the number 4 into 72, that equals 18. That means that every 18 years, Lynn, our money is going to double. So we started at 29. By the time we turn 65, it has doubled twice. Now, Lynn, what are most people in America thinking about at age 65?
Retirement, of course.
Retirement. Is $40,000 enough money to retire on?
Absolutely not.
It's not. Okay, so let's get aggressive again. Let's say that we find 6%, all right? 6%, all right? If you'll stay on that screen we were just on, Lynn. Oh, did I just change? Okay, never mind. That was me just changed. At 6%, your money would double every 12 years.
Right.
So at every 12 years, starting at 29, by the time you turn 65, you've got $80,000. Is that enough money at age 65 to travel and enjoy life?
Nope, not at all.
Not enough. So let's get aggressive again. At 10% interest rate, which most people don't even know or never knew that you could put your money in vehicles where you can see this type of growth. So at 10%, our money is doubling every 7.2 years. So starting at age 29, by the time we turn 65, we have $320,000. Now, is that a lot better, Lynn?
That's better.
That's better.
That's
now,
significantly better.
That's significantly better than the 1%, the 4%, and the 6%. Now, ironically, let's see what happens if we let that money sit for 7 more years. Now, $320,000 doubles to $640,000. Okay, just because we have a higher interest rate. So let's all agree: is 10% much more desirable than 1%?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so now let me ask you this next question. Now, so at 640, and by the way, age 72, ironically, is the age that Congress is wanting to get our retirement moved to 72. Well, let's see, Americans are living longer now. We're trying to save Social Security, so we need more people working in the workforce longer to try and preserve the money that we have, okay? So age 72 is not so far-fetched. Now, let me ask you a question, Lynn. If you started with $10,000 and your money grew to $640,000, do you think Uncle Sam wants his portion of that money?
Of course he does.
Okay. So, Lynn, what if I showed you or told you and the viewers that are watching this that there are concepts or tools available to you, to everybody, not just the wealthy, where you could pay the taxes up front on the $10,000, and now you get to take the entire $640,000 tax-free. Would that be of value to you?
That is absolutely of value.
Okay, so that is one of the tax concepts we're going to talk about in just a second, okay? So keep that in your back pocket. Now, so let's talk about the yellow section, how money grows. Well, we have fixed, variable, and index. Let me explain the difference. Fixed is like your local bank, okay? Your money is fixed. It kind of, whether it's you got your money in just your checking or your savings, and they're giving you a flat 0.5%, not even a full 1%, or maybe you have your money in a CD, all right? And they're giving you a generous 2.5%, all right? Well, either way, we just talked about interest rates, all right? So we already know whether it's 2%, 3%, maybe even 4%. If you leave that money there, although it's safe, although it can never lose money, the principal is protected. Although if the market is declining, you still are seeing a steady incline. People like this fixed strategy because it's safe.
Right.
It's not subject to the perils of the market. People like this fixed market in some cases because that money you can get easy access to it. So there's a reason why people like fixed. But what's the problem with the fixed? If you leave your money in this, by the time you turn 65, do you see a problem with that fixed?
Yes, absolutely. It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere, okay? So let's move over. The variable is exciting, all right? But it kind of looks like an EKG. It goes up, it goes down. This is kind of like, it resembles your stock market, but I'm gonna make it look like your really your 401k. And this is where most people, this is the ball game where they're playing in, all right? When the market goes up, they're dancing in the streets. When the market takes a big dive, they're jumping off of bridges, okay? And so this plan is completely subject to whatever the market does. It's fully invested in the market. Now, that's your variable. Now, here's the problem with this strategy, all right? And you can help me out. I'm sure you've seen this analogy. And I won't ask you because you'll give it away. But if you start with $100,000, all right, that's our baseline, and the market loses 50%. You started with 100,000, now the market takes a 50% dive. What's our new balance?
Half of what you started with.
$50,000, right?
Right.
So let's say the next year, the market takes it goes up by 50%. What's our new balance?
75,000.
There you go. Now, most people thought the answer was $100,000. All right. So people think that if the market loses 50% and gains 50%, you make it back to where you started. And the answer is you take 50% from where you last lost. So 50% of $50,000 is 25,000. So now we add 25,000 to the 50,000, and now you're only at 75,000. So here's the problem with this variable illustration. There's never been a time in history where the market lost 50% and it gained 50% the very next year. So because of that, this variable strategy, people like it because you can make a lot of money, but people hate it because you could lose a lot of money as well. Okay? So let me show you the index strategy. All right. This is a strategy that is used heavily by people who have financial advisors. And Lynn, unfortunately, not enough people in the middle class or even lower class have access or privilege to this information. And it's severely underutilized. So index strategy works like this. When the market goes up, you go up. And then it locks in. So if the market goes up again, you go up, and then it locks in. But if the market sees a decline, whether it's 5%, 10%, 25%, or God forbid, back in 2007, 2008, 2009, the housing crisis, the Enron scandal, the market saw a 39% drop. And Lynn, you know this all too well, people lost their life savings.
Their entire retirement account.
Their entire retirement account. I know a deacon at my church that was right on the brink of retiring. And he ended up not being able to retire and working as a security guard at the local hospital. This is while I was a police officer. I used to go and sit and do my paperwork in the parking lot next to him while he was a security guard. Okay? And so he lost a lot of money, and he worked the next 10 years as a security guard. And his wife, who was already retired, ended up going back and becoming a substitute teacher. She was a school teacher. So let's look at this index strategy. So when the market takes a downturn like we see in the variable, the index locks in. When the market goes back up again, you go back up. Okay? Sounds too good to be true. Let me explain in theory what this is. Any index strategy has a contract to it. Okay? Here's the contract, Lynn. You take a cap, or what we call a ceiling, all right? Lynn, if you look straight up right now, can you see the clouds?
No.
No. What's stopping you from seeing the clouds right now?
The ceiling.
The ceiling. So this index product has a ceiling on it, or a cap. That means that's the most that you can earn, okay? Sometimes the ceiling can be 12%, 15%. There's some more right now that have even higher caps. So what we're talking about is interest rates. I just talked about the rule of 72, 1%, 4%, 6%, 10%. We have products that have a 15% cap. Where can you go and get 15% return on your money? All right. Now, so that means that if, let's say that we have a 15% cap and the market sees in general, people see a 12% return this year. Now you got a 15% cap, but 12% is what everybody else gets. Well, you get the 12% because it did not exceed your ceiling. Does that make sense? Now, let's say that next year, the market sees an 18%. So they went here, but you hit your ceiling. Well, you say, that's not, I don't like that. You know, why didn't I get what they got? Well, just hold on. Because you took a ceiling, that means that's obviously, that's what the investment firms, that's what they earn. They earn the difference between your 15% and what the market earned. But here's the exchange. After you got that 15%, the market locked. You locked in on what you earned. So that's now your new principal. And everything that we do, principal is protected. So next year, if the market loses 17%, you have a floor of 0. So that means that even though your friends and your neighbors and your coworkers took a 17% loss from their retirement account, you saw a 0. You didn't go up or down because you had a floor in place. So there's a ceiling in place that minimizes that says you can only make up to this amount, but there's a floor in place that says you can never go below this amount. And that's the exchange in an index strategy. It gives you a combination of fixed, which means that it's protected, the principal is protected, all right? And it gives you this, it gives you the earning potential of a variable without the risk. So, of these 3 strategies, Lynn, which strategy is can give our, give a person who wants to be a little risky? I don't want to be, I don't want to, like, hold on and clench on to my blessing, to my money, but I want to see it earn some money, but I don't want to lose it all. Which one makes sense in this illustration?
Well, absolutely, it's the index, right? Based upon what you've explained, it's the index.
All right. So let me cover this. Here's my last strategy. And here's the last thing I'm going to cover is taxation. Now, Lynn, wealthy people are obsessed with taxes. And I learned this from not only reading about wealthy people, and I know, Lynn, you teach us to read, get educated, all right? And so I promise you, the information you're lacking, it's in books. Okay?
Absolutely.
The information we need to know, we can find it hidden in a book, and it's hidden in plain sight, okay? So, taxation. Let me explain these 3 categories. There's tax now, there's tax later, and there's tax advantage.
Right.
Tax now, that's simple. That's, if you do earn enough interest on your savings account or your checking account, you're expected to pay you got to pay your taxes on it when you do your taxes in April.
Right.
Okay. Or if you make money in the stock market, you're going to get a receipt, or you're going to be responsible for paying your taxes for your earnings in the stock market. Or if you sell a home and you get capital gains taxes, that Uncle Sam wants his money now, so that's tax now. Right. So tax later is what most of us bought into. That's your 401k or your 403b or your traditional IRA, all right, versus your Roth IRA. That's Roth. I talked to a banker, and I was actually talking to him. I was explaining these 3 concepts I went over, and he says, "Man, what you know about that rich man's Roth?" All right. Interesting enough, rich people, wealthy people will never use a traditional IRA. They're going to use Roth IRA because it's different tax implications. So let's talk about tax later. That covers your pensions. All right, Lynn, you've been in the education, so have I. I've been in the law enforcement. We have pensions, but all that pension money hasn't been taxed. When is Uncle Sam going to get his money?
Later. When you get yours.
When you get yours, when you're ready to retire, that's when Uncle Sam gets his money, because that's what you call tax deferred. Okay? And see, America bought into tax deferred. Whereas wealthy people, bought into, no, I'm going to take care of my taxes today.
Yeah. Right.
So here's the difference. So I like to use this illustration. So let's say in my hand, Lynn, all right, Lynn, would you put your hand up? We're going to use your hand. All right. So Lynn, in your hand is a handful of seeds. Now, Sam says to you, Lynn, you can skip out, you can take a tax break today on the seed. Now let's compare it. Here's the seed, but here's the harvest. Seeds can fit in your hand.
Right.
Harvest, you need bags and bags, okay?
Right,
so you can either pay your taxes today, or you can take a break today and pay taxes on your seed when you turn 65 or 59 and a half and you're ready to take your harvest, but you haven't paid taxes on it because you got it tax deferred.
I love where this analogy is going. All right, keep going.
So let's jump over to tax advantage. Tax advantage says, I need your hand again, Lynn. Lynn, tax advantage, which is what the wealthy people say, where they use their municipal bonds and their Roth IRAs and their LIRP, which stands for life insurance retirement plans, or executive bonus plans. I promise you that the CEO of Amazon does not have his money in a 401k.
Right.
Okay. There are plans that are set up because for better tax strategies. So in this strategy, Lynn, I have the same handful of seeds. Uncle Sam says, when do you want to pay your taxes? The wealthy person, and this is not exclusive to the wealthy, it's available to whoever has the knowledge. The wealthy person says, I'll take care of my seed today.
Yeah.
And when I get my harvest, I don't pay any taxes.
Well, you just helped somebody right there. You just helped somebody.
I helped somebody. And Lynn, here's what blew me away. This concept is mostly used by that 5%, by the wealthy, by the people who have these financial advisors, but it's not exclusive to them. It's available to anybody who knows where can I get access to these products. So to close this out, there are products that are available. When I say products, I'm talking about financial places where you can put your money that can do a combination of a couple things, all right, that can allow us to stop playing in the 1% or even the 4% category, but allow us to play in areas where we can see as much as 15%. I'll tell you right now, we have products that have average between 8, 10, and 11%. I'm talking about average. It's not going to earn 15% every year, although that's the cap, although that's the ceiling. But the average is still 8 to 10.5%.
Yeah.
What if we could put our money there? Okay. We have products, these same products are in index strategies, which means that we have a protection on our principal. We have the ability to see massive growth without incurring any loss. This same strategy allows us to, because any money, here's the thing. If your money is being taken out before you see it on your paycheck, that's called payroll deduct. That means that, they've already done the tax implications where it hasn't been taxed. You're getting your tax deferred. And people love that term, tax deferred, because that's what we bought into. However, what if, and this takes discipline, but it's so worth it, what if the money actually makes it to your bank account on your direct deposit, and now, remember, anything that's in your bank account is presumed to already have been taxed. So now, if I save $200 or $300 a month into an account that can now utilize these tax advantage strategies, can be a part of the index strategy and get the highest interest rate, now I can see the best returns on my money and get the best of all of these worlds.
Yes.
So also, I'll share with this because at the end of the day, my licenses in financial services, the first thing that I am is that I'm an insurance agent, okay? I have life and health license and annuity license, okay? And so the one thing that you get that you don't get with your 401k. So here's the thing. Let's say that you're new on your job and, you know, you've been putting away $200 a month into your 401k, and maybe your company is so gracious to match it with 3% or 6%. That's cool. So at the end of the year, you put in $2,400. And let's say that your money, it grew this year, and now your account is now worth $3,000. All right. So let's say the value of your 401k is $3,000. What if there was a product, and there is, where for that same $200 that you're putting away to a 401k, and they're giving you that little small match, that's what keeps us in the game, okay?
Right.
What if that same $200 a month not only was going to be there for your retirement when you're ready, but what if that same $200 a month bought you a $250,000 life insurance policy? Life insurance. See, we run from that word life insurance, and
Yes.
We've all bought into GoFundMe. All right, I know that's another podcast, okay? But
help the people, Julius.
man, I'm trying to help the people, all right? You know, this year alone, I promise you, I've contributed to more GoFundMes than I care to, all right? We got to bear the people, all right?
Okay.
But some simple actions ahead of time could have prevented that. So with this $200, you know, with this $200 a month or $300 a month, or if you really need to be aggressive, or if you waited till your 40s and 50s, you might have to be a little more aggressive, okay?
Right.
But what if that money didn't just buy us savings for retirement, but what if this money was there for you to leave an inheritance right now if something did happen to you? Lynn, we don't plan to go out and get into a car accident. We don't plan to, you know, become sick and something happened. But if it happened, you know, we are prepared. So what I'm talking about, we have products that can not only give us some upfront protection, but there's also one other thing, okay? This plan that we have of access to, not only does it give us all these index and tax advantages and the best interest rate in our principal, but here's what I like about it. This code was created by Congress, all right? It gives us, you know, most people have heard of 401k. Well, that's an internal revenue code. It's IRC 401k, internal revenue code. 403b, internal revenue code 403b. But there's another internal revenue code that you didn't know about, and it's called IRC 7702 subsection A. And it's a code that applies to insurance premiums, insurance concepts. And so because this money that you're putting into an investment vehicle, because it's surrounded by life insurance, guess what? This money, Lynn, is an asset to our client. It's only an asset to you, Lynn. My money, it's only an asset to me. What do I mean by that? If, God forbid, I had to file bankruptcy, and I have an account with this that's worth $500,000, well, if I have to file bankruptcy, surely they're going to be, you know, trying to see how much money I have in my checking account. And guess what? That money is, they can attach it, or they can garnish it. All right? They can try and attach my wages. They can try and make me liquidate my homes or my cars. But guess what? IRC 7702A says that any money that's protected by life insurance is unattachable. It's untouchable. So Uncle Sam cannot, or anybody cannot, you know, I like to say this money is protected from creditors and predators.
I like it.
Now, also, even if you get audited by the IRS themselves, they cannot touch money that's protected by life insurance. Well, you say, Julius, I don't, you know, I need to invest money. I don't really need life insurance. I got that old term policy on my job. Listen, life insurance is a tool, okay? And it's now a tool to protect your savings. All right, Lynn, if you're backing out of the driveway and you run over your neighbor's poodle, and this poodle has been in the family for years and she endures, she's stressed and now she's missing time from work, and they're going to try and sue you. God forbid you run over your neighbor's kid, or you have a lawsuit. They could come after a lot of things, but they cannot touch your money, even if it's $1 million cash value that has accumulated because you had an index strategy, because you had the best interest rates. You can have serious growth inside these vehicles. You can't touch it because it's protected by 7702 subsection A. So, Lynn, you know,
guys, I'm telling you, can I just jump in for a second? Guys, there should be no additional excuses after this conversation today, okay? There are no excuses. We say, yes, our people perish for lack of knowledge. Well, Julius just gave you the knowledge. Now it's up to you to take action, okay? I'm sorry, Julius, but that was just too good for me to just go ahead and just let it pass on by, because you preaching to you. All right, man, you on it today, Julius.
Yes.
You're on it. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, Lynn, just to summarize everything that I talked about, yes, we have access to information. Okay. There is what's acceptable. Most of us, we're thinking about retirement. Unfortunately, we're not getting serious until we're in our 40s. Okay.
Right.
Or, I know a lady right now. I mean, she makes $125,000 a year, but she's just starting to think about planning for retirement. She wants to retire by the time she's 65. Well, when you're 55 and wanting to retire by 65, we don't have time that we would have had we started thinking about this in our 30s and our 20s, okay? And we also, all these concepts and things that I just talked about, we also do these for children, all right? We have a concept or a plan called the $1 Million Baby. So if time is money, well, babies got a lot of time. Children have a lot more time. So we don't have to put $300 away for children. You can put $50 or $100 away for children, depending on their age. And now the time growth of money, and to see this compounding effect work for children, we're paying for college, we're paying for a car, we're growing off money to make a down payment on a home and a generous retirement. So, but back to what I was saying is that we have this information available, and we have plans and products available. Whether it's me or another financial advisor who, I have to be careful when I say this, but understands these tools. Not everyone is utilizing these tools. There are different strategies out there, okay?
Yeah.
So I'll say this, be prayerful about that. But if you didn't understand anything, I'll make myself available. Also, that rule of 72, I did a 20-minute video and I broke it down. And I even explained in that video, and it's on my Facebook page, I explained debt, okay? Because credit card, they use the same rule of 72. So check this out. If you got if you're paying interest rates of 24%, let me just use that number. That's not unheard of, Lynn. There are some credit card companies that have interest rates of 24%.
Yes.
Hey, Lynn, can I just share the math and close on that 24%?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
At 24% credit card, remember this rule of 72? We can take 24 divided into 72. All right, I'll wait. The answer is 3. So what that means is, let's say that you've maxed out that credit card with Discover for $5,000. And you just making that minimum, we say in the hood, minimum payment on that $5,000 credit card.
Right.
Well, what that means, and this is why you got to get out of debt. any way you have to. Turn that cable off.
Mhm.
All right. I didn't even have to turn my cable off, but I wanted to put more money towards my retirement. All right. So I just kept my internet. All right. And my internet, excuse me. All right. I just kept my internet and I just got my cable or minimized so that I can, do what I got to do. And so because I wanted to pay off debt and get more aggressive and put more money towards my retirement. But back to my situation, 24% interest rate. And some of our viewers watching this right now, maybe you're feeling convicted because you got that 24% credit card.
Right.
And sometimes you did it because you had, out of desperation, okay? But what that means is that every 3 years, that debt is going to double. Instead of every 3 years, your money doubling. Listen, these financial institutions, they understand this rule, and it's working against you, okay?
Yeah.
And so at least you can see your money work for you. Get out of the debt, all right? Use the snowball effect. I'll come back on and teach that if you need, okay? But any way you can pay off this debt, pay it off.
Pay it off.
All right?
Absolutely. Guys, yes, first get understanding. Hopefully you got some understanding today, and then next you need to take some action because Mr. Julius knows. That's how you find him on Facebook. But Julius, will you also share with the folks how they can stay in contact with you, connect with you to find out more? I'm sure you'll have some listeners calling you about this index opportunity. Say, hey, put me in, coach. That's the words I'm looking forward to hearing from some of the folks, from some of the listeners. So how can they get in contact with you?
Very good. So I definitely welcome your reaching out to me, and so I'm on Facebook. My business page is actually Julius Knows. All right, and you'll see my logo. It's a logo of an apple and Julius Knows. All right, so and I say that because I found out there's somebody else with Julius Knows as well. All right,
Okay.
so make sure you reach out to the right Julius. The second thing is, hey, go ahead and send me an email. All right, with your phone number, and I will respond back to you from my Houston 832 number. Don't treat me like a bill collector. All right. And so my email address is Julius, which is Julius, at juliusknows.com. Julius at juliusknows.com. So.
All right. Awesome sauce. Well, Julius, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. Guys, we thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Hopefully you go out there and do what you know is right. First faith or family, then take care of those finances. But we thank you so much for joining us here at Financial Confidence, where we're helping you make your money, keep your money, and grow your money. If this show or any of our episodes have been of value to you, make sure you go on over to WYTV7.org. Leave a donation so we can do what we're called to do, guys. That's continue to enhance the kingdom. We thank you so much for joining us here at Financial Confidence.